everybody, and welcome back to the stream. It's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for the weekend kickoff, our awesome strength and stamina focused body weight class. And yes, it is still very echoey in here. But hi! Oh, God. There's something on my glasses that I cannot get off. There we go. Okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. It's fine. I can see you. By which I mean I can see myself, but I can see the chat, and that's really the important thing. Hi, everybody. We made it through another week. Oh, my God. We made it through another week. And, you know, sometimes we just need to start class with that celebration. Yes, we're here. We made it. Did a good job. It's a beautiful day outside. A lot of good things are happening. Which is nice and hopefully refreshing. And, no, everything's fine. Sorry, being a glasses owner in the time of COVID is a fascinating experience, although it has, I think, no, not even I think, it has definitely gotten me to give up what, in retrospect, was one of the grosser things that I, learned as a kid, which was in order to clean my glasses lenses, God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. In order to clean my glasses lenses, I would lick them and then wipe them off with my shirt. And I kept doing that a lot longer than I like to admit. And then a pandemic happened. And I think I tried to do that once and then went, hang on, that's probably really not a good idea. So, cloths. Hey. Do you wear glasses, cloths, and warm water from a tap? Good things. Good things. Keep your glasses cleaner. And yeah, just a little less gross. Oh my God. I feel like we're all going to come out of this with small changes in habits that were kind of a little gross, and we were like, oh, it's fine, and then we're gonna come out of this going, no, it's probably not fine. And you know, I think that's all right. I think that's an okay way to go about things. But yeah, we have finally made it to the weekend, which I am extremely grateful for. I'm also just very grateful that the move is going pretty smoothly, because that means that I don't feel like I need to take today to be really intensive about it, and can give myself a little bit of an overall break. Obviously, I've been doing a rest week for exercise this week, but a bit of an overall break would also be nice, because there's just a lot of stuff happening right now. And yeah, it's interesting. One of the, you know, just sort of realizing that there are some traumas from 2020 around feeling like things are going well, and then, you know, as we all know, in March of 2020, the rug sort of got pulled out from under most of us pretty spectacularly, and kept being pulled out from under us over and over again for a good long while. Yeah, so I was glad I was finally able to name that for myself yesterday, because I feel like being able to name it, being able to understand what I'm experiencing and why I'm experiencing it, helps me to move through it. Not push it away, but move through it. Acknowledge and move through. Important, okay? We don't want to try and just bury things. That never works. It's not us actually dealing with our emotions and our experiences. That's just us going, la 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 la, can't hear you, and hoping that they'll go away or change magically on their own. It takes work. It takes work, my friends. Living takes work. Hey, great. But it's very worthwhile when you do that work. And it gets easier when you get into a habit of not trying to push things down, of not trying to ignore that they're happening, and instead of acknowledging your emotions and acknowledging your fears and treating them as valid and understandable and not adversaries, and then figuring out together what to do to move forward. That is such a hugely better way to approach life than just closing your eyes and pretending that a feeling doesn't exist when it does. And the more that you do it, the easier it becomes. I promise. Hey. Just like exercise, the more that we do it, the easier it becomes, right? Right? We've been going back through our Rocktober programs this week because I am moving. And something had to give, and that something was my ability to plan new classes. But it's fun to go back to the Rocktober programs, just to remind ourselves of what we were doing there. And I'm still hopefully going to start running a new program at the beginning of February, because February starts on such a nice, perfect, the first is a Monday, and I always appreciate that. Not that we have class on the first, but you get my drift. Anyway, hopefully I will be able to build out some programming for February and have a little fun with that. But in the meantime, it is quite enjoyable to go back through our Rocktober programs. Marvel at the fact that that was 3 or 4 months ago. Holy crap. Yeah. Time has no meaning. Time has no meaning, my friends. But it should be good. So if you are new to class, hi. Welcome to the weekend kickoff. Welcome to Blanche Fitness. I stream mostly bodyweight classes. Accessibility is a huge focus point for me. I want you to be able to do this class no matter where you are, no matter what equipment you have. As long as you have an internet connection and a mat or a mat-sized space on the floor, you're good to go. And even when we do weight training on this channel, we do weight training with objects you can find around the house. So if you don't have big fancy set of dumbbells or kettlebells or anything like that, it is totally fine. If you are new to class, what I like to tell people is that I want you to focus not on giving me 120%, but on the bare minimum. And that means 3 things. It means starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly. That last one is hugely important. That last one is the foundation of everything that we do here, because I want you to be able to be working out for the rest of your life. And that starts with safety, and that starts with correct form, so you're not setting yourself up for injury. We can never 100% mitigate the possibility of injury. That's just not possible, and we know that. But by putting a lot of focus at the beginning on learning the correct form and on not trying to step up the challenge rating until we know that we have that form down, those pathways are set neurologically. We've been able to move some of that processing out of conscious processing. We start there, and then we are in a much better position to be able to challenge ourselves safely and to keep moving and keep working out for as long as we want to, so that we can be as mobile as we want to. We can be as active as we want to. That is our goal. Leading lives that are as active and mobile as we want them to be. So if this is your first class or your first month of classes, focus on the bare minimum, and you will get more than enough of a workout. You will get an excellent workout just focusing on the bare minimum. And then as you start to feel more comfortable and confident in class, then you can start adding in, additional challenges, upping the challenge rating, as I say. But now I think it's time to get going. So let's do our pre-class checklist. Oh, get over here. Ooh. There we go. The one thing I forgot to pull down. Hiya! That was graceful. All right, pre-class checklist. We've got our water bottles or vessels, whatever you're using. We're in our home, so you can use whatever the hell you want. I'm using a giant mason jar. Yeah, hydration. Good morning, my dear. Yeah, I saw that you were at work. I'm sorry that that adorable kitty was not enough to keep you from having to go to work, but I'm glad that you're hanging out. Um, and you should have water too, even if you're not working out this morning. So we've got our water, bottle, vessel, what have you. We've got our comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. We've got our mat or mat-sized space on the floor. And if you do use a fitness wearable, now's the time to turn it on to a high-intensity interval training setting. If you don't use one, that is totally fine. It's not a required piece of equipment. It's not even a piece of equipment that I would recommend for everybody. Like, if it's a valuable tool for you, awesome, go for it. And if it's not, if it creates more anxiety than anything else, then don't use it, all right? Don't ever think that any of the like super fancy things that exist are required for working out, because they're not. They can be good tools. They can provide good data. If you're a data-oriented person, it can be really fascinating to use these. But if having a fitness wearable is just making you really anxious and making you really worried that you're not hitting goals, and then you're losing your motivation to hit those goals because you're anxious about them all the time, throw it in the garbage. All right? All right. So let's get going with our warm-up. For anyone who's been taking class this week knows that I am doing a rest week this week, so I am not going to be, I'm still going to be demonstrating things, but I'm not going to be doing class with you in the way that I usually do, which feels weird and is really hard to stick to, but I've got to put my money where my mouth is, and I talk to you about the importance of rest all the time, so it's important that I model that behavior. Dang it. So modeling that behavior. So we will begin with our warm-up, which is the same warm-up across all of my classes, which provides a nice through line. God, it's echoing here. All right, so hello. Can anybody hear me? Ooh. I'm waiting for a minute. Okay, I'm back. That was super weird. I'm very sorry, my friends. I don't know what happened there. I'm inclined to believe that it was probably something weird about my internet. Although I don't know what it could possibly have been, since there's literally no wind outside and it's a sunny day. But anyway, let's start that again. All right. Well, thankfully we were only in the second exercise of the warm-up, so hopefully this will be okay. I'm going to keep my glasses with me just in case something funky goes on again. All right. Yeah, mid-first leg. Okay, that's fine. We're just going to restart the warm-up, my friends. So, on your backs, 1 foot. You know the drill. As soon as that horn goes, hip rocks and bridges. What I was talking about before everything went down was just digging a little bit into why you don't want to start the warm-up by going for 100% intensity any more than when you're getting warmed up to run a race. You want to be sprinting in the parking lot. So we're booting up our energy production systems, because we don't just have available fuel floating around in our body right now. We have the sources that get broken down into that fuel stored in our bodies, but they're not in the usable form yet. And so one of the things that we do when we're warming up is that we kickstart those systems to start breaking down those sources into the energy that we need. All right, switch feet, still doing hip rocks and bridges, but at this point I've demonstrated that more than enough today. And so if we are going for lots of intensity in the warm-up, we are just running through our available energy, and our body isn't able to build more of it up to keep pace. And so you run through all of this energy in the warm up, and then suddenly you don't have any energy left for the rest of class, which is obviously not our goal, because there's a whole 45 minutes after the warm up that we have to get through. So just I know I talk about it a lot, and it's because it can be really easy to get to class and get on the mat and just really try to go, and I want you to hold yourself back. I want you to build towards that. All right, now into our leg sequence. So starting with Jane Fonda, so we're lying nice straight line on our mats, lifting that top leg, okay? And again, if you have difficulty telling if you are in a straight line, use the long edge of your mat. So, you know, what I frequently will see is people sort of creating a little bit of a V shape. Their legs are a little bit farther forward than they need to be. The other place where I'll see the line get messed up is when you're lifting the leg and your leg drifts forward. So I always tell people to engage the glutes so that it helps to pull that leg back into line, but don't pull the leg actively, because then you're just overcompensating in the wrong direction. And I've done that before, so I understand how easy it is to do. All right, now we take that top foot, put it flat on the floor in front of that bottom knee, and we are lifting the bottom leg. Also, hi Tim. So two parts to this. Obviously, the leg lift is one of them, and that's relatively easy. The other part is making sure that we are keeping this knee nice and safely positioned, pointing straight up at the ceiling. So if I was standing on this leg and like doing a squat, my knee would be going straight over my foot, okay? And depending on your hip flexibility, this may mean that you can just sort of set it and forget it, like I can on this side, or it may mean that you need to engage the muscles in the back of your hip to pull that leg backwards so that it's not caving forward. It's easier for me to demonstrate on the other side because that's my less flexible hip. So that's where I really have to engage. Over here, this is a very flexible hip, so I can just sort of chill here. And now we take that top foot, put it flat on the floor behind the bottom knee, still lifting that bottom leg. This is our beach pose. This is our chill pose. We are just relaxing here. There is so much dust in the apartment. If I keep coughing during class, it's because the air is filled with dust. You know, it's one of those things where I feel like I won't truly feel like an adult until I have some sort of a normal cleaning schedule, and I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. So I may just never feel like a fully realized adult. That just may be something that I have to come to terms with. But man, am I noticing all the dust right now as things are moving and entire dust cities are being uprooted. All right, so now we go to the opposite side. We do the same three things again. So we start back with Jane. Again, checking in, making sure we're in that straight line. Obviously, too, I sort of do this swing around to get into position for the other side because I need to be facing the camera the whole time. But that's clearly not the most efficient way to get into position to start the other side. So don't feel the need to copy me. Just roll over and you're on the other side. Like it's a lot easier than what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing very deliberately because I'm teaching. But yeah, if you notice places where you're like, Blanche is not being particularly efficient in getting to the next exercise, it's because I have an added parameter where I have to be facing the camera the whole time. So just keep that in mind. All right, foot flat on the floor, in front of that bottom knee, lifting that bottom leg. So this side, you really see my right hip is a lot stiffer and less flexible. So my knee, if I am not doing anything, my knee is just caving forward like this. It's sort of folding forward.
So if I was standing on it, it would not be going straight over my foot. So I really have to engage the muscles behind that hip and pull my knee backwards into this position. And then I have to keep them engaged to some extent to be able to maintain this. And I know I've talked about this before. This is a really great low stakes part of our workout to practice this knee form, because we're not putting any pressure, we're not standing on the leg, so it's not the worst thing in the world if it does cave forward, but it gives us a nice opportunity to practice what we will need to make sure is happening once we're standing and doing squats. And now our beach pose, nice and relaxed, just chilling. I do miss the beach. I haven't actually been to like the Boulder Reservoir. Does it have like a beach-like setup, or is it just basically a lake? Cause yeah, it's probably gonna be a while before I can get back to Maui. Maybe this year, who knows? Who knows, my friends? What a weird start to the 2020s we have had. Although it is kind of terrifying to have these like, this has happened before, it'll happen again moments. By the way, if anybody gets that particular line reading, then you've seen the Lex miniseries, which is one of my favorite garbagey, like late 80s, early 90s sci-fi things. All right. Scorpion twists. I remember the name of this. Plant your forearms on the ground, and we are swinging one leg at a time, back behind ourselves, trying to get that foot flat on the floor, trying to get that knee pointing up towards the ceiling, but always keeping our elbows glued to the floor, okay? So if you can't hit a certain position without your elbow starting to come up, then you don't quite have the flexibility for that yet, okay? And that's fine. This provides us a nice, easy gauge of where our lower to mid spine flexibility is, and it reminds us to not push ourselves past where we are and put ourselves in line for an injury. So keep those forearms nice and glued to the floor, all right? That's the one non-negotiable here. And now, standing up, picking up our imaginary PVC pipe, and big torso rotations. Oh yeah. Change directions every 2 rotations, I would say, just to make sure you're evening yourself out. And remember that you are initiating the circle from your hips, okay? So not with the arms, we're not diving down with the head. We're sort of taking this flat back position all the way down until we're folded over. Coming down through the center, you're really getting a stretch in the hamstrings, and then back up to the other side, all right? So this is a hip exercise. We're really starting to get the hips engaged, remind them that they have a place in movement, even if they've been sitting all day. Well, it's Saturday morning. They've been sleeping all night. All right, and now squats. So taking all of that form work that we were doing when we were doing that leg sequence and putting it into action here, making sure that our knees are going straight over our feet and are not trying to cave in towards each other at any point, okay? So you may be able to get down here just fine, but as you start to push up, the knees start to come towards each other. That's a signal to narrow your stance and to practice in that narrower stance for as long as you need to build up that strength and that stability. And then once, some number of classes have gone by, test again, widen the stance again, and see how that feels, all right? But don't just keep doing a wider stance just because that's what I demonstrated. Form. All right, Samson stretches. So we stretch one leg straight out behind us in a nice long lunge. We're opening up the front of this hip flexor, reach our arms up towards the ceiling, step forward, and other side. So you really want to make sure that your hips are pointing forward the whole time. So we are not opening our hips out like this into a warrior two. Okay? If you had headlights on your pelvic bones, they would be shining straight forward no matter where your leg is, all right? And that's something to really pay attention to, because it's really easy for the hip to be like, well, the leg is extended behind me, so obviously it's trying to pull me to the side. No, no, no. We want to keep those pelvic bones facing forward the whole time. All right, and now into our wide squat, hands on the knees, and we're twisting the upper spine now. So one shoulder at a time, twisting in towards the midline, and then other side, and just going back and forth. Everything else is held nice and stable. We're not bouncing up and down out of that squat. We're not letting our knees cave in towards the midline along with the shoulders. The only things moving are our shoulders. Twisting in one at a time. We already had the twist in the lower to mid spine with the scorpion twists. Now we're getting the upper spine in on the action, just sort of completing that circuit before we move into the final section of the warm-up, which is, of course, cardio. Yeah. But don't worry, even though it's cardio, we're still not going for 100% energy output. Still boot up sequence. So we start with jumping jacks. Nice, relaxed. We're doing bare minimum jumping jacks, my friends. I'm not extending my arms and doing really big jumps. I'm just keeping my elbows bent and doing bare minimum jumping jacks. Because again, this is the final boot up sequence. So we're getting the cardiovascular system online, getting our heart rates up a little bit, getting our breathing coming a little bit faster, moving that oxygen more quickly through our body, since that is required by our muscles to break down ATP into a usable energy source. But that's all we need to do. We don't need to be going for full intensity yet. We just want to complete the sequence. So we get to the end of the warm-up and go, all right, every system that I need in order to have a great class today is online, and I still have more than enough energy. Kick throughs! Oh gosh, so much fun. One hand flat on the floor, shoulder directly over wrist. The opposite leg, 90-degree angle, knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Then I kick this free leg across my body. I'm just sort of letting this arm chill here. And then I go through the center, bring that other hand down, and other side. And I just go back and forth and back and forth. Remember, take this as slowly as you need to. There are a lot of components to it. There are a lot of places where the form can get hinky. If you're not stabilizing your shoulder strongly enough, if you're letting your butt come down towards the floor, or letting that knee start to cave forward, you might be putting unhealthy pressures on your knee. So slow and steady while you learn the form before you speed it up. And now finishing off, hiya, with burpees. Hooray! So it is a wave push-up. So even though we jump into this plank position, we then do a wave push-up. And then jump the feet forward, and a nice big victory clap up at the top. Excitement abounds because this is the last sequence in the warm-up, and now we get to really let loose and start digging into the rest of class. And it's going to be a fun class. They're going to be, if you remember taking the Rocktober programming, then you may have a vague memory of what's to come, but there's going to be some fun stuff. Fun stuff. It's going to be hard for me to not do class. Nope, that's not what I wanted to open. Hey, there we go. It's like, do you want to find people? I was like, no, that's
Not the functionality I'm looking for right now. All right, water time, my friends. Yeah, it looks like the stream's still going. So hopefully we all made it through that warm-up. Internet doesn't like the sun. Maybe, I mean, you know, that seems like the kind of ridiculous bullshit reason the internet might have for going out randomly for a hot second. Gosh, yeah. Remember what I was saying earlier about if you have a mat and an internet connection, you can take this class. Hoisted by my own petard. It's okay. It's okay. Because even if the stream had gone out, you know what the warm-up sequence is. So you could absolutely still go through the warm-up sequence. You don't need me there for that. Everything's been going smoothly. Good. Yay. All right. Well, let's talk about what's next, because what's next is pyramids. I love pyramids. They're so intense. So pyramids are, we have 3 exercises, and we're going to go through them 3 times each. The first time we will do 21 reps of each exercise. The second time we will do 15 reps of each exercise. And the third time we will do 10 reps. I'm not giving you an interval timer. I'm setting a 10-minute timer, and that is the amount of time that you have to complete that. It should be more than enough. You'll also have, you know, the rest time that comes afterwards. So if for some reason you're not done at the end of the 10 minutes, you'll have some extra time. You'll just have a little less rest time. So our 3 exercises for our pyramids. First one's going to be squat jumps. So we're going to take our feet about shoulder width apart, maybe slightly wider. Squat down, jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. All right? Pretty self-explanatory. Just really check in on your knees. Make sure that when you land back in that squat, that they are still going straight over those feet, okay? Second exercise is going to be push-ups. I want you to select a form of push-up that you can do for all 21 reps. 21 is really the thing that reveals where we are in our push-ups. So you can do a full plank. You can do a push-up from the knees. You can do half plank, half wave. You can, I meant to do a full wave push-up there and then forgot what I was doing. The main 2 things that are non-negotiable, we want to keep those shoulders straight over the wrists, okay? So that they are nice and stable. And you want to make sure, as you're doing the push-up, that you're keeping your elbows glued in by your sides, really focusing the work on the tricep, okay? And then the third exercise is going to be a full body pike extension. So we start balance on our tailbone in this pike position. We've got our arms on either side of our knees this time. We're not doing the back and forth of TikToks. And I'm going to extend my arms and legs out, still off the floor. So I've got my core engaged to keep all of that still lifted. And then back up, down and up, down and up. Wow, I don't have a bookcase behind me. Suddenly I have a lot more room to do that. That was disconcerting. So those are our 3. We've got squat jumps, push-ups, and full pike extensions. I am not giving you a timer. I'm just going to tell you go, okay? So on your mats, remember 21 reps, then 15, then 10. Get ready, get set, and go. So the nice thing about pyramids is that you have a lot of autonomy in terms of you can take rests between each exercise, however long you want to, however long you feel you need to. You can even technically take a quick rest while you're in progress, okay? So if you're doing your 21 push-ups
and you're like, oh my God, I need to stop for a second, you can do that. But here's what I want you to keep in mind. It may not make it easier in the way that you think that it will. This is not going to go the way you think, because you've already got the fatigue building up. And when we take that rest mid-set, our brain goes, oh, cool, we're done with that. I can sort of put it away. And then when you go, oh, no, just kidding, brain, I still have X number of reps to do, your brain goes, well, what the hell? I feel lied to. And it actually can feel a lot harder to finish out. So if you can, try and do all of the reps in a row. Here's the caveat to that, though. If you are certain that you are not going to be able to do the next rep without losing form, take a rest and then finish out the set, okay? Because again, form is the foundation on which everything else rests. And I would rather you do 2 reps and then wait a little bit, 2 reps and then wait a little bit, and do that all the way to 21, than try and blast through 21 reps in one go and have your form be all out of whack by the end, okay? Because then you're setting yourself up for injury. And we don't like that. If you take one thing away from today, so we don't like to injure ourselves. It sucks. And, best case scenario can just leave you with really irritating things that you have to work through for the rest of your life. Worst case scenario, we end up with things like surgery and physical therapy and, just a lot of stuff that's really frustrating to deal with. So, those are my advisories on this. But apart from that, you do have a lot of control. You can take breaks between each exercise as long as you want them to be. My approach these days is generally I will try to get through all the 21s in a fairly straight go, and then give myself a little bit of a rest before I start the 15s. But also I'm, the teacher, and I've been doing this for a while. So I didn't start there. I definitely started with pyramids where I was just taking rests as often as I could and feeling really uncomfortable because I felt so far behind everybody else in class. It's one of the reasons why I love pyramids, but they can be really intense to do around other people because we have this tendency to compare ourselves negatively against others and against their performance, which is, it's not a healthy way to approach exercise, but I understand why it happens. I do. But here's the beautiful thing. You are in your living room, aside from, maybe a roommate or a partner or a cat, you are probably not working out around anybody else, and you can just focus on you. You can focus on your needs. You can focus on the signals your body is telling you. If it's telling you to go slowly through these, well, you can't even see what everybody else is doing, so there's no way for you to compare yourself against what other people are doing. So you can just focus on giving your body what it needs in this moment. And that's going to be such a healthier way to approach this. It is one of the things that I love about streaming these classes, honestly. There is an energy to taking class with a bunch of people in the same physical space. There absolutely is. But fitness culture and gym culture have a lot of really toxic aspects to them. And we talk about that a lot. And it can be a huge barrier, particularly to people who are just starting their journey with fitness or just coming back to it. So many of us as adults have this story where when we were in high school, we were athletes, we were dancers, we were working out all the time, and then got into adulthood and lost track of that component of our lives because there were so many other things coming at us, and we're just trying to get back into it, but we're fighting against our own memories of how strong and powerful we used to be and being frustrated that we're not there, and gym culture exacerbates that too. It can feel really hard to work out in class settings, in gym settings, as a newcomer without feeling like you're being judged and being watched. And so that's one of the things I love about streaming these classes is you are in a space that you fully control, that you know only you and people that you deem acceptable can enter into. And you can just focus on you. You can just focus on your workout, on what you are doing. You do not have to worry about anybody else. You don't have to worry about that person in the corner who just blasted through their 10s. And also, you know, for all you know, could have been taking this class for 10 years and that's why they're so fast at it. You can just focus on your workout. And I feel from an accessibility standpoint, it's just huge to have that opportunity to remove those factors of shaming, whether it's internal or external, and just be like, hey, I'm working out because I want to work out, because I want to be fit and I want to be strong, and that is my focus. So yay for Twitch is really what I'm saying. All right, we are 7 minutes in. Okay, so just 3 more minutes to finish out the remainder of your reps and sets. And if you are done early, congratulations, you get a little bit of extra rest time, which is always nice, I think. And if you are still going when we get to the end, that's totally fine. Finish out the sets. You may get a little bit of less rest time, and that may mean that when we go into our next set, you want to hold back a little bit and sort of rebuild some of that energy, but that's totally fine, all right? Again, you're setting pace. You can, during your rest, if you want to stretch a little bit, you know, stretch your arms out, do a standing quad stretch, like you can fit that in too. Take control. There are a few points in this class where I actually give you fuller control over your activities, so you should always appreciate them. Oh my goodness. It feels really weird to not be doing this. Like, pyramids are one of my favorites. Once I finally mastered the ability to talk and do an exercise and count the number of reps of the exercise simultaneously, it's like a puzzle for me, you know? It can be hard enough continuing to count reps in your head with the teacher talking, you know? But you can also tune me out or turn the stream volume down a little bit. Like, there are ways to do that. When I'm up here and I'm doing class with you and I'm doing pyramids and having to count to 21 on my reps while also still maintaining a dialogue with you and doing the exercise just in general, that it is a fascinating puzzle, and one that definitely took me a little while to dig into. The first couple of times that I did pyramids on stream, I don't think I was actually really counting out my reps. I was just like, well, hopefully that was enough. I can do it now. But yeah, it definitely takes a lot of compartmentalizing different parts of your brain. All right, my dears, you have just 20 seconds left before I turn on the rest timer and we all grab some well-deserved water. So make sure that you are taking care. You're challenging yourself, you're pushing yourself, but you're hanging on to that form. You've done an amazing job, and now it is time for some rest. Hiya! Yeah. All right. Yeah, pyramids. I like to put push-ups in pyramids because push-ups are definitely an exercise that I still feel like I want to improve on
And I know that I'm better at them now. So some of it I think is mental, just is not my brain being stuck in sort of an earlier iteration of my fitness and going, we can't do that. And my body's like, well, we really can. But, you know, it can be hard to move away from those earlier iterations, away from those earlier assumptions that, oh, I don't have the strength for that. Oh, I don't have the, you know, the stamina for that. It's a huge part of the plateaus that we will find ourselves in from a fitness perspective. A large part of it is mental, and just, you know, our brain is so fixated on where we were and doesn't believe that we have moved forward, that we have strengthened, that we can do this thing that was so hard before. So if you're feeling plateaued in anything, A, that's normal, and B, work with your brain to be like, look, brain, look at how well I'm able to, look, I can maintain that form. Like, we could probably actually work ourselves up to this thing that you think we can't do. And again, working with ourselves and with our feelings and not just trying to push them aside. All right, now we're going to do a bunch of perpetual motion sets, 30-second work intervals, standard 3 exercises, going 3 times through. You know the drill. So our first set of exercises, we're going to have front plank from the elbows. So we want those shoulders directly over the elbows, so we're creating that nice perpendicular line between our upper arm and the floor. And then we just chill. Just chilling in this plank, keeping our butts out of the air, nice straight line of the body. Core is definitely engaged so that my hips don't start sinking down towards the floor. Bob's your uncle. I don't know. You may not have an Uncle Bob. I don't have an Uncle Bob. Second exercise. Ooh, kneel to squats. All right. So keeping our head the same distance from the floor the whole time. We start in a kneeling position. I'm sort of taking a flat back and letting my butt come a little bit farther behind me. And that just helps me to not try to maintain my head staying this distance from the floor the whole time. You'll see why. And now I'm going to bring one foot up. So I'm kneeling on one knee, then push forward. Now I'm in this really low squat. Then I bring that first leg back down to the knee and down. And I just keep repeating that, changing my starting leg each time, okay? And then third is going to be ankle reaches. So legs straight up in the air, pointing towards the ceiling. I engage the core, and that lifts my chest and shoulders off the ground. And I reach my hand for the outside of the opposite ankle. And then I go back a little bit, but I'm not lying all the way back down. Still have that core engagement. And other side. And I'm just rolling back and forth, basically. All right, so those are our exercises. We've got, what was that first one? Front plank from the elbows, then kneel to squats, and then ankle reaches. So everybody back on your mat. This is a perpetual motion set, which means as soon as you hear the timer, you are doing that front plank. So get ready, get set, elbows prepped, shoulders prepped, and you are in that front plank. So one of the things about these held positions, make sure you are breathing the whole time, okay? I don't want you here holding your breath because you're holding the position. You don't want anything pushing you out of it, all right? I do need you to keep breathing. Once again, I am asking you to keep breathing because your muscles really need that oxygen, and they're not going to be happy, and you're not going to be happy if they stop getting it, okay? And now, going into those kneel to squats. So you need a lot of hip flexibility for these. And that is honestly going to be the determining factor more than anything else of where you want to place your head at the beginning of this. So I can take really deep squat position because I've got that flexibility. If you're not quite there yet, then maybe you do keep your torso a little more upright when you begin this, okay? You are the one who knows best. I can give you
advice and feedback as a professional, but I'm not living in your body. You're living in your body. Now we're doing ankle reaches, and if you do need to introduce a bend into the legs, make sure that you're pulling the knees towards your chest rather than bending the tops of the feet away from your chest. You still want your feet pointing up towards the ceiling, even if you have to bend the knees a little bit, okay? All right, second time through, back to that front plank. The front plank is another one of those exercises that became a lot easier once I had built up better strength and stamina in my shoulders. So, Tim, I hope you're being careful. I trust you. I trust you. I know that you've been taking care of your shoulder, but always good to remind. All right, back to those kneel to squats. And again, most of the exercises that we're doing on Saturdays, we're not focusing on speed. This isn't a cardio specific class. So we can be more deliberate, a little more slow and steady, okay? We do not need to be trying to rush from position to position during the exercise itself. Now, right now, I do want you to minimize the amount of time that it takes you to get into the next exercise and doing it, all right? But once you're there, you know, I don't need you to be going, okay? Yeah, so just slow and steady is fine. Making sure that you're really focusing in, that you're using the correct muscle groups. And now we're going into that final round, and I want you to really be paying attention, making sure that your form is just as good on this time around as it was in the first few, all right? That is critical. That's how we see that we are building and we are improving. When we can get to our third interval and go, all right, I've still got that form down pat. I'm not worried about it. I'm not afraid that I'm losing track of where my core is, of where my legs are. I am hanging on to that form. Woo. All right. Doing our kneel to squats right now. It's an intense exercise. I really love this exercise, but I recognize that sometimes I'm very alone in the things that I enjoy, and that's okay. We all have different exercises that we love and different exercises that we're like, I'm not crazy about this. Ankle reaches, that's another one that I enjoy, but I like all these core exercises. Y'all know that. All right, this is your last exercise. Last run of these ankle reaches. We are very close to getting some rest again, which is always exciting. We love rest, don't we? Nice Saturday morning class, drinking some water after working our cores. Yeah, there we are. All right. I got really freaked out when I looked at the time, and then I remembered that we started a little later, and then we had that weird hiccup in the stream, so everything's fine. It's all fine, Blanche. Calm down. Just breathe. All right. Such a good way to wake up in the morning. I really like this. Like, I don't think I will ever teach a ton of morning classes, just because I am not usually a working out in the morning person. That's just not what I go for. But I do like having this one a week morning class that feels really nice, and that is late enough in the morning that I'm not going, oh my God, I have to get up at 4 a.m. to get my exercise in. Like, that's not ever going to be me. And that's okay. Some people like getting up at 4 a.m. and doing their exercise. More power to them. If that's you, awesome. If that's not you, also awesome. Better to learn your likes and dislikes so that you can actually maintain your fitness practice. All right, next set of exercises. We are going to start with our alternating one leg squat. Haven't done this in a while. So taking a nice wide position with the feet turned out, okay? And when you're checking in on your knee health in this, if you're struggling having your feet turned out super wide, you can always bring them in a little bit. But we are going to go all the way down to the floor, bending one knee completely, extending the other leg, so I'm getting this nice hamstring stretch, and then pushing back up to standing and to the other side. And we're just going back and forth and back and forth, okay? And second and third exercises, basically the same exercise, just on different sides. Side plank from the elbow. So again, shoulder directly over elbow, nice perpendicular line. Extending those feet out, pushing those hips up towards the ceiling. Other arm reaching up as well. You can look towards that hand if that helps you to maintain. Make sure you're pushing up and out of the shoulder socket and not sinking down into it. Make sure your hips aren't sagging towards the floor. And then we do the same thing on the other side. And again, another held position. So really making sure that you are still breathing even though you are trying to hold this pose. All right? So again, perpetual motion. So be on your mats, be ready to start doing those alternating one leg squats the second that you hear the horn. Very weird for me having my phone over there. I'm used to putting it over there, but there's no there anymore. All right, alternating one-legged squats are going. This is not an exercise to rush. All right, this is a really intense thing to be doing on our knees. And as I go down into this, my knee is still going straight over my foot. That's why I have my foot turned out, so that I can do that. And the same thing as I push back up. So again, if you can't do that with your feet turned out that wide, turn them in a little bit, all right? Pay attention to that. Now you're in side one of your elbow plank, side plank from the elbow. We got there. And these planks, these side planks, are a great place to practice some of our visualization techniques. So it can be really intense to try and hold a position like this because there's nothing else that we get to focus on. We just have to hold. There's no movement to distract us. So one of the things that we can do is we can learn little visualization tricks for ourselves. So imagining that I have a thread attached to my hips and it's pulling up into the ceiling. Same thing with the tips of my fingers. And that helps me to keep pulling myself away from the floor and feeling like I am better able to hold that position, okay? So heading back into those one leg squats. But yeah, visualization is a powerful tool for a lot of this stuff. Our brains are powerful components of our fitness practice. A lot of the benefits that we see right off the bat when we're starting a new program, you know, you have those sort of heady few weeks where you're like, whoa, everything, I feel like I'm getting really good really quickly. And a lot of that is just your brain setting down the mental pathways that it needs to be able to perform the activity more easily and without using as much conscious processing power. So our brains are powerful tools. They are powerful allies and accomplices as we're working out. And so finding these little visualization tricks that we can use to sort of teach the brain what we're going for, it goes a long way for us to then be able to translate that into the motion or the stability of our body by just sort of imagining what we're going for is seriously it. Our imaginations are powerful tools, my friend, and they are just as useful here in class, which is not something that we focus on enough, I think. But yeah. All right, you were going through your last run. So last time on these alternating one-legged squats, making sure that you are minimizing the amount of time it takes you to transition from one exercise to the other. That's our definition for starting on time when we're doing perpetual motion sets. So it's not focused on, with Tabatas, we're able to focus on just, oh, horn is going and I am going. With perpetual motion, it's horn just went, I need to stop doing this exercise and start doing this next exercise. And that's our focus point. So again, for these side planks, I was swinging all the way around to get into position for the second one, which is obviously not the most efficient way to do that because I'm trying to stay pointed towards the camera. You don't have to do that. So you can just roll over, you're up, you're going. All right, far more efficient. Again, when you see me taking paths that are not the most efficient path to the next exercise, don't assume that you have to mirror what I'm doing all the time, because frequently I'm making it a little more complicated for myself so that I can keep facing the camera. Alrighty. Yeah, rest time. Do. Rest time, water time. Petting our cats time. Look, I know that there are a lot of people in chat today who have a lot of adorable and or dangerous cats. I'm trying to imagine Rex doing this class. And I don't know, with the kinder, gentler Rex that's been coming out in the last few times I've seen him, maybe he would be down to do this class. Who knows? All right, my loves. We've got one more perpetual motion set to get through, and it's going to be the same as all the rest of them. Sorry, I got distracted. Someone was walking down in front of the building. Oh man. I can't wait for you all to see the streaming office. It's, it's going to look a lot less cluttered because it's not literally my living room. Yeah, I feel like I will have the opportunity to decorate a little bit, maybe paint on the wall. Who knows? Oh my God, the possibilities are endless. Dangerous cats. All right, our last 3 exercises for our last perpetual motion set. Ooh, we start with toe squats. Hiya. So, you'll know my love of toe squats. You thought you were getting out of them today, but nope. You forgot that we totally did them in Rocktober. So, feet hip width apart, keeping our backs straight up and down as possible. Engage that core before you go anywhere because we are starting to squat, letting our heels come up as they need to and going all the way down here. And then standing back up, letting our heels come down naturally. So our heels are coming up and down totally naturally. I am not actively lifting or lowering my heels. They're just, if I want to keep going, I have to let them come off the floor. And if I want to stand up, I have to let them come back down to the floor, okay? Second exercise is going to be flying chickens. So, with our flying chickens, the jump, we jump our feet apart in the air and then land them back in the same place they started. Out in, out in, out in, out in. For the arms, thumbs at chest height. If you wear a bra, you can just hook your thumbs behind your bra straps. And we're just flapping our elbows up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay? And third exercise is going to be a held front superhero. So lying on our stomachs, arms and legs extended, and we lift, chest, arms, legs, and we hold for the 30 seconds. If you need to add a little bit of movement in here, you can bend your arms at the elbows and extend them behind, bend at the elbows, push them forward, bend, extend, bend, push, okay? I usually do that just to give me a little something to focus on. It's not required, but if you're looking for a little additional movement, that is the way to go. So, toe squats, flying chickens, and front superheroes. Wow, cracking my neck. All right, everybody on your mats, getting ready for those toe squats, because as soon as you hear the horn, they will be going. You will be going. Da, da, da. Yeah, so remember, we engage the core to control the weight of the torso, so that once we're down at the bottom and we're trying to balance on the balls of our feet, our torso's not going all over the place like this. We are also controlling the movement, so we're not letting gravity push us down, so we're bouncing around when we get to the bottom. That's putting a lot of unhealthy pressure on our knees. Control the movement. All right, but now you're doing flying chickens. Having a lot of fun. As the most majestic of barnyard fowl, this is the most cardio exercise we've done today, and we are almost at the end of class, so push yourself for a little intensity, push yourself for a little bit of speed, really get that heart rate going. All right, we have made it through an hour of class, and we are absolutely able to take those last pockets of energy as we head into that front superhero. We're taking our last pockets of energy and we are leaving them all on the mat, okay? And some of that is just power and intensity, but when we've got something like the flying chickens that we can come back to, we can really go for a little bit of speed and really just get that heart rate going, get that last bit of energy out, the finish line's in sight. We don't have to hold anything back anymore. All right. Round 2, so you are back on those toe squats, and remember, even when you are going fast, even if I'm going quickly, I am still in control of the movement the whole time. My core is controlling the weight of my torso. I'm not letting gravity slam me down to the ground. You can get a lot of speed in on toe squats, but do not sacrifice your control over that movement. All right, now you are flying around the barnyard again. Gosh, now I want eggs. That's a good thing I have a Costco of eggs in the fridge. Oh my goodness. I do love Costco. It's yeah, that's a solid store. And now there's gonna be so much more storage space to buy Costco's worth of things and store them. Ooh. All right. Front held superhero. Remember to keep breathing. That's still important. See how your back flexibility feels, because that is absolutely a component of this. How high you're able to lift, a lot of back flexibility and strength comes into that. All right, so just pay attention to everything going on in that exercise. That's going to be the exercise that we finish out on. So we're in our final run. You are doing your last run of toe squats right now. And again, remembering this is the end of class. This is us using these last bits of energy. This is us getting our cheerleaders out and putting them on the floor. They're a little more subdued today because we're not doing that high intensity rah, rah, rah of the end of a cardio class, but we're doing something equally as important. We are building strength. We are building stability. We are building stamina, because there's so much work that we need to do, and we need to have that grounding. We need to have that base, that foundation, to have that strength so that we can get out there and do all the things that we need and want to do. So as you're doing your last set of flying chickens, getting that heart rate going, reminding ourselves that speed is important, that we've absolutely got that power, and then getting down onto the floor, down onto your mat, into that front superhero, and reminding yourself that being still is also valuable. Being strong in your held position. You got this. You are using so many muscles, I promise you. Remember to breathe. Remember to be present. Remember to add that arm movement in if you need to. And remember that you just made it through an hour of class, because you are a badass. And now you're done. Woo! Ah, good job, everybody. All right, grab a quick sip of water. Quick sip of water.
And we're going to do, I think, the roll down sequence today. So, everybody come back to your mats. And we're just standing, nice stable position, feet about hip width. Straight spine, we're gonna let our chin come down to the chest. So we're just letting the head hang, but everything else is still nice and straight. And we're gonna roll down one vertebra at a time on an 8 count until we are folded over at the hips and our hands are on the floor or as close as they can get, okay? So I'm gonna count us down, just follow my lead, and when you get to the bottom, we're just gonna hang there, okay? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shake out your head when you get down here just to make sure you're not clenching your neck muscles. You want to have a little bit of a bend in your knees. You don't want them straight and locked in position. All right, so let them maintain a little bit of a bend. Take some deep breaths each time you exhale. See if you can let the torso drop a little bit farther down, increasing that fold. You're really feeling the stretch in your hamstrings. You can sway your back from side to side a little bit and just use that motion to get your torso a little bit closer to your thighs. Increase that stretch. Now we're going to do an 8 count again. On the first 4, we are going to squat all the way down, and on the last 4, we will straighten our legs again. All right, here we go. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, down, 2, 3, 4, and up, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shake that head out again. Make sure your neck is not clenching. And now I want you to take your hands to the opposite elbows. So now gravity is getting in on the party. It's definitely pulling your torso lower because you're not supporting yourself with your hands on the floor. And you can add that little sway in to decrease the intensity of the hamstring stretch a little bit. We're just folding over as far as we can. Woo! Putting those hands back down on the floor. Now we are going to bend our knees and roll all the way back up to standing on an 8 count. When you get to the top, do not move. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold right here. Don't adjust your hair. Don't adjust your clothes. Don't move your limbs. I want you to just feel the height. Feel the stability of your connection with the ground. Feel your blood starting to move back through your limbs. Take some nice deep breaths. Feel that oxygen moving through your body. You are grounded. You are connected. And now you can move. Shake your hands out a little bit. Shake your feet out a little bit. Just wiggle around. And now let's grab some water. Oh my goodness. Well done, my loves. Well done. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, good class. What a good way to get ourselves up. I have no idea what this recording is going to look like because of our weird technical glitch. God, it might make me do a little extra editing. Well, we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for joining me here today, friends. I love these Saturday morning classes. We have such a nice time Such a nice time. Ooh, yeah. That's the thing, and that's the thing that I forget to mention a lot. Those are other modifications for push-ups. Absolutely. Doing angled push-ups, doing wall push-ups, off of a wall, off of some furniture, off of your stairs. We have these weird like cultural assumptions about the like intrinsic value of different types of push-ups. It's all bullshit. Okay? Find the style of push-up that is safest for you, that you can maintain the form on, that you feel comfortable doing. You are getting a great arm workout on those, okay? And you can develop your own pathway towards what building to a harder version of them means, and you can build towards that, but build towards it at your own time. Don't be over there going, oh God, I'm still doing push-ups from the knees, like so lame. Look, those push-ups will do this, okay? Don't you be talking down on those push-ups. I do push-ups from the knee in this class all the time. All the time. I love having you two in class these days. It's so great. What a wonderful Saturday morning. I really hope I get out for a walk today, because I feel like a walk would be absolutely lovely on a day like this. It's a little cool out, which I like. And just beautiful, still weather. Absolutely gorgeous. But thank you for starting your day with me, my loves. Thank you for starting out with some exercise, some hydration, a couple of surmounted technical difficulties, and my continued reminders that you are awesome and you're doing a great job of taking care of yourself, and that is hugely important, and I'm proud of you, and I love it's such an honor to be your teacher. It's really wonderful. So this is the end of our broadcast week. Holy crap. Next week is my last week in this space, teaching in this space. Holy crap. It's going to be real empty. It's going to be really empty. Oh my God. Yeah, next week is going to be a hell of a week. There is a potential world where I do rebroadcasts of older streams, depending on how moving is going. I don't think I'll have to do that. I think that I will have the space to build classes out next week, because the move's going really well. But I am reserving that right to switch over to rebroadcasts if I need to. But there will still be stream. Whether or not it's live or a rebroadcast, there will still be stream, absolutely. Which means it's going to be our regular schedule. So starting on Tuesdays at 5:45 p.m. for Perpetual Motion, the class where we never stop moving. All of my times are Mountain Time, by the way. Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. we've got Jump Around, our weekly cardio class. Friday at 6 p.m. we have Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house. And that brings us back around to Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. for the weekend kickoff. So it will still be an awesome week of working out, no matter what that ends up looking like. So definitely come join for class. It is always a wonderful time. It's a great community in the chat. I love it. Love it so much. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All those handles are in my end cards, but they are all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel is where I upload all the VODs from these streams, so you never have to miss a class. Even if you can't make the live cast, they go up on Sundays, so look for them tomorrow. And definitely head over and subscribe. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I do have a coffee account, Blanche Case Fitness. Your donations are always very much appreciated. And if you want to help keep growing this channel, then please do follow the channel. Tell your friends, loved ones, coworkers, anyone looking for an awesome class stream. I stream 4 days a week. We have a lovely community. We are 3/4 of the way to Twitch affiliate, which is super exciting. And yeah, looking forward to doing more in 2021. So definitely would love to have you along on that journey. I am going to go probably put PJs back on because you know what? It's Saturday and I feel like relaxing. So make sure to hydrate, make sure to get some food, have a wonderful shower, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday, whatever you end up doing with it. And I will see you all back here on Tuesday. Mwah! Have a great day.